Thrill seekers, in this video, you will see 3 pieces of footage, each more disturbing than the last. Imagine being alone in your house at night and hearing noises that make you feel anything but safe. Can't imagine it? Well, stay until the final story and I assure you, you won't need to imagine that feeling. I am a 17-year-old living in a small neighborhood in the Midwestern USA. In the neighborhood where I live, people are very close-knit and give this sense of community. My street forms a cul-de-sac with 3 houses on each side and one at the end, situated atop a small hill overlooking a lake surrounded by sparse forest and other residences. The nights are typically serene, with occasional sounds of barking dogs, passing cars, and distant howls of coyotes breaking the silence. One night, around 2 a.m., while my mother and older brother were in their rooms, sleeping or occupied, I was in bed, preparing to sleep, and casually watching a YouTube video. While watching YouTube videos in bed, I heard an unusual sound emanating from across the room, resembling the soft tapping against the wall. Initially attributing it to my cat, Spot, I looked around but found no trace of him. Perplexed, I resumed watching videos, eventually forgetting about the incident. However, my tranquility was interrupted by a more disturbing noise, loud screeching coming from outside, seemingly originating from the direction of the nearby lake. Outside, I was startled by a loud screeching sound, which I initially thought of as the cry of an animal. However, the sound resembled the cry or scream of a child, and it disturbed me. To investigate further, I opened the window and recorded the sound to share with a friend. Feeling increasingly uneasy, I asked my brother for confirmation, hoping it was just my imagination. However, my brother also heard the eerie sound, confirming my fear. As I pondered the origin of that noise, I wondered why I had never encountered such an eerie one despite living here for many years. The sound did not resemble any known animals in the area, such as foxes or coyotes. Moreover, the forest was not large enough to accommodate animals much larger than themselves. The thought of a child being alone and crying in the forest at night seemed bizarre to me. I could not shake the thought I had heard earlier and wondered if there was a connection between the 2 eerie sounds I had heard. Despite my efforts, I never encountered similar noises thereafter. To this day, it still troubles me that we could not determine the origin of those eerie sounds. In October last year, around Halloween, my parents and brother left for Tennessee from Florida to assist my grandmother with moving into our house, leaving me alone for a few days. Enjoying the solitude on the second night, I was startled by what sounded like a hand hitting my bedroom window. Living in a single-story home in a rural area with few neighbors, I dismissed the possibility of animals or natural causes. Curious, I peered through the blinds, hoping to catch sight of a prankster, but saw no one. Suddenly, the situation turned alarming as the doorknob was vigorously shaken and twisted, causing a loud bang against the door. My dog's frantic barking added to the tension, heightening my adrenaline. Suspecting it might be a prank by one of my friends, despite being alone, I began recording a video on Snapchat to share with them in hopes of identifying the culprit. The initial video captured me standing a few feet from the door, attempting to catch any movement. Eventually, I aimed the camera outside through the glass doors. However, the recording abruptly ended when I heard the screened-in patio back door being forced open behind me, causing my phone to drop. I sent the first video to 3 friends, realizing that whoever was outside couldn't gain entry, but was still unsettlingly persistent. Two of my friends responded innocently from their homes, while the third, Logan, opened the snap but remained silent. Ironically, he was the most likely to pull such a stunt. Feeling increasingly convinced it was Logan, I started a new video with the flash on, hoping to spot anyone lurking in the backyard's open grassy area. After ensuring the front door was secured, I stepped outside, hoping to catch Logan in the act of trying to startle me. I checked behind some bushes and scrap wood on the side of the house, but found nothing except darkness and silence, which quickly made me uneasy. After just 15 seconds outside, my discomfort intensified, and I decided to retreat indoors. Upon returning to the living room, Logan finally responded to my snap with a startling message accompanied by a photo of him in bed with his girlfriend, urging me to call the police. I immediately dialed 911 and ensured all doors and windows were locked. The dispatcher advised me to remain vigilant and call back if I heard any further attempts at forced entry. Only days later, upon reviewing the saved videos, I noticed a creepy black figure lurking behind my tool shed, seemingly observing me while I searched the area as if deliberating whether to attack. Seeing it for the first time, and even now, makes me want to throw up from fear. Nothing has happened since, but I still wonder how someone knew I was alone that day. And what could have happened had I made eye contact with the figure watching from the corner of that shed. I reside in one of the apartments on the lower level of a two-family house. The owner, Rob, lives upstairs, but is frequently away due to owning multiple properties. Over time, Rob and I have become friends, and he typically informs me when he'll be away for an extended period. During the incident, Rob had mentioned he'd be out of state for 2 weeks, permitting me to use the entire driveway. I often spend my evenings reading in the living room, which offers access to the back door and deck. As expected, the story takes a turn involving the backyard. While immersed in my book one night, I heard a sudden bang on the glass of the sliding back door. Startled, I considered the possibility of Rob returning unexpectedly, although it seemed improbable. The solitary bang could have been caused by a passing fox or possum inadvertently colliding with the door. However, I decided to investigate. I pulled down the sliding curtain and shone a light on the deck. As I expected, the deck was empty, confirming my belief that in our quiet city, break-ins never occur. Nevertheless, I couldn't shake the annoyance of the idea that someone was lurking outside in the darkness. It's a common feeling, I guess. Some time passed, during which I managed to finish another chapter of my book. Then it happened again. This time, however, it was not a single bang, but a series of deliberate knocks on the glass, which suggested it was a person. Worried, I turned off the lamp and grabbed my phone, choosing to record the disturbing events. Upon opening the blind and illuminating the deck, the noises ceased, leaving no trace of anyone or anything outside. I scanned the deck to see if anyone had jumped over the railing, but it was deserted. Hurriedly, I retreated indoors, locking the door behind me. Feeling unnerved, I retreated to my bedroom, shutting the door securely. The inexplicable events outside left me baffled and frightened. Resolving to stay in my room for the rest of the night, I distracted myself with Instagram and YouTube before attempting to sleep. However, the silence was interrupted by a sudden noise at the foot of my bed, resembling someone exhaling. Startled, I frantically reached for the light switch, illuminating the empty room. Despite my thorough search, I found no intruders. Convinced of what I had heard, I decided to spend the night in the living room, though I still felt uneasy. It was a relatively sleepless night for me, haunted by the events of the evening. Rob said that he had never encountered such a phenomenon, and that he could not identify anyone who might harbor ill intentions toward him. Until that night, I had dismissed the idea of something paranormal. However, since then, I have not encountered anything so intense.